Welcome to week 13, weekly kickoff. And we are happy to have you here joining us on Thanksgiving week. Holy cow. So that means football starts early for us this week. I like that. It's one of the best parts of Thanksgiving is football. So I love it. We're joined again this week by Mr. Kevin Murray. How's it going, man?
Hey, it's going good. I'm glad to be back this week. Last week was challenging, to say the least, when it comes to some of the Pacific Northwest weather. We still have people that have power out right now in the area, so I'm glad to be here. I'm good. The only glitch I had was last week, that night, just kicking me off. But I still, even after that, didn't lose power. So I'm thrilled to be here.
Well, that's good to hear. Last week, anyone who tuned in probably realized that our intro and everything also had a giant glitch. We decided we were also going to blame that on Kevin's weather, even though it's thousands of miles away from us. But hey, it worked out. And here we are again, trying to make it happen again tonight. So if you disappear on us tonight, we know it's just because you don't like us. So now we've got that established. Kyle, how you doing tonight, man?
I'm good, man. Thanksgiving week. I'm thankful for no bye weeks this week.
Oh my gosh. Last week was brutal.
Next week's going to be even worse.
Yes. Next week's going to be horrible because there's going to be a lot of unpredictable matchups. And I was looking through this last week of what are my roads to the playoffs, right? Like, what's my road there? And I was looking at some of my most important leagues, and a lot of those top teams are going to be missing a lot of their top players in week 14. And those are the guys I need to win so that they can knock down some of these guys I'm tied with or one game behind me or something, and these top teams have a lot of guys with week 14 buys.
Yeah.
So I'm nervous about it.
There's a lot of teams must win next week and have half their team on a bye. That's gonna be a bummer.
Yeah. I can't recall who else on a bye next week. Kevin, do you happen to know?
I know Baltimore is. I know that.
Oh, yeah. See, that's a big one. People that have Lamar Jackson or Derrick Henry.
So we got Denver, Indy, New England. Not so bad, those three necessarily. Then you got Washington, Baltimore, and Houston. Those are tough buys next week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You ride Jaden Daniels all year long, and then if you need a must-win next week, tough.
Well, gosh, anyone riding Joe Mixon? That's another big one.
Lamar Jackson, yeah, man.
Lamar
and Derrick Henry are huge,
Huge. Yeah. That's huge. You got Terry McLaurin. Even Brian Robinson been carrying people pretty good. Had a weird week this last week against Dallas. That whole Washington offense had a weird week against Dallas. I mean, if it wasn't for one play, McLaurin was worthless that game too. So yeah, that was odd. I mean, that was a Sunday miracle right there, which I'll take as a Cowboys fan.
It was a Christmas miracle in November.
But it also really hurt me in fantasy everywhere I started Brian Robinson. So that wasn't very fun.
But you wanted the win despite the season? Like, wouldn't you rather have higher draft picks?
You're correct.
Yeah, but it's still exciting when you win.
There's pride.
Against a rival like that's been talking crap.
Yeah. Well, the thing was, it was the style of the win that made it so exciting. Like, that was the most ridiculous football game I've ever seen in my entire life. And I was hopping up and down, what's going on? What is happening? Because it was just so wild and back and forth, and it was exciting. But at the same time, in the end, I was like, we're killing our draft position. What are we doing?
That's all right.
I was annoyed.
Beat the Giants Thursday as well. The rivals like that, the division rivals. Screw it.
That's true fan. That's a true fan right there.
Yeah, it's hard to take a back seat to Washington and New York. Like Philly, it's like, okay, we hate your guts, but man, you're good, so fine. I don't really want to pull that upset. But Washington, they deserve that. So
if the Seahawks were doing terrible and the Niners, were doing great, and we got to win like that, I'd be thrilled. So I get it.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, Kyle and I had a miracle weekend because we're Oklahoma fans too, and we pulled off the upset against Bama, and then we had the Cowboys do their thing. It was just a wild weekend. I'm still recovering.
It was fun.
Yep. I got to rush the field for the Oklahoma game. I've never rushed a field, and I'll probably never do it again. But I rushed it the second time when we were supposed to rush it. I didn't rush it early.
Dude, I was so embarrassed. I wasn't even there. I was so embarrassed. I was just
it was so embarrassing. We were all standing up in the stands. We were getting ready to go. They didn't. We all just kind of looked at each other and go, maybe we don't now. It was like, this is really embarrassing. Like, should we still do this? And I was like, yeah, sure, let's just do it. But
that's awesome.
How often do the Sooners actually rush the field in Norman, though? Hardly ever.
Like, I think they said it's been 44 years or something like that.
Yeah,
it's been,
like, wow. We're used to winning big games in that stadium.
No, that's not true.
So when you're having like a down season and still get a win that big, like
24 years. It was in 1999 when they beat number 1 Nebraska at home. That was the last time they did it. So
yeah. So like you say, down season, you get a win that big in Norman on senior night, like.
It's pretty big.
I think that was a fan's way of showing, like, yeah, you had a bad year, but we're still here with you.
We're still here with you.
We appreciate you still fighting, even though the season's lost, kind of a thing.
Please don't transfer.
We got bowl eligible with that win, though. So hey, let's go.
Yep. Kevin, are you into college football at all, or just a pro guy?
I mean, growing up in Seattle, I mean, Huskies are my team. We're right. It's like looking at the Seahawks, back in the day. So. Definitely a UW Husky fan. I don't get as much college football in as I'd like to. Just trying to balance out time and life and everything. But I try to pay attention. Obviously, I love Dynasty, so I love paying attention to as much as I can along the way because obviously when this season wraps up, getting right into rookie draft season, it'll be here before we know it, and so that's always a fun time. So I try to pay attention as much as I can. But it's not my strength at this time.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of pay attention to the other teams a little bit. Love my Sooners, pay attention to the conference the most, and then, kind of dabble here and there. Like you said, once seasons kind of wrap up and you can kind of dive into the rookies for Dynasty, that's kind of when you get to know them a little bit more. So sure. It's a lot of fun. College football used to be a lot more fun. Now it's turning into the pros with all the moving around and the paying them and all that stuff. So, it's pretty much a developmental league for the pros now, so which is fine because it's making the product in the NFL really, really good. You've got some of these young guys coming in and contributing immediately. Rookie quarterbacks, rookie wide receivers, rookie running back. I mean, they're contributing so well as rookies now. We're used to you had to wait a couple years on them, and now you don't even need that. So.
And that's that's a ton of fun for fantasy in general to have those wild cards come in, and just anytime there's a little more chaos in the draft, it's reaching for a rookie isn't like it once was. You're right.
Oh, agree. Yeah, the only thing that I dislike about it is that it makes leagues much deeper at the player pool, right? So I'm in 10-team leagues now, where used to that was okay. There was some. It was a little hard on waivers. Now it seems like even in a 12-person league, I can't get enough roster spots. I'm like, oh, there's people on waivers I want because they're all contributing in one way or another. Because every team's got 2 running backs and 2 to 3 wide receivers, and quarterbacks are so deep because they're coming out of college just ready to roll. At least fantasy wise, they're scoring fantasy points. May not be winning in real life, but they're winning in fantasy. So it's tough, man. It makes it really deep. I'm thinking I need to start scouting out some 14 teams leagues to make it fun again.
It's true with injuries too. It seems like there's more injuries than ever too. So more cautiously getting someone back on the field is definitely what we see these days. And so you definitely need bigger rosters on fantasy teams. That's one thing that often gets me in fantasy is it. From a commissioner's perspective, I hate those short benches, right?
Yeah.
So. Oh, yes.
Well, you need those deep benches. You need a reason to need to trade.
Yeah.
Right now, I feel like this season, even with all the injuries, I still couldn't find trades. And it's because the league is just so deep, right? And there is always someone out there, or there's some Akeem Westbrook or something getting 2 touchdowns a game that's really irrelevant and no one actually wants to roster, but there they are, good enough getting teams by and stuff. So it's been kind of one of those seasons. So I need to start deepening some of these leagues and having fun again, because I love trading. My goodness. It's one of the best parts of the game, for sure.
Oh, for sure.
I love it. All right, let's see. We got Albert in the house over here. What's up, Albert? Thanks for popping in here. We got Tony. How's it going, Tony C? All right. He said, looking ahead to my week 14 matchup with Dobbins injured and Jonathan Taylor on a bye, is Tank Bigsby a better option than Kareem Hunt? What do you think, Kevin?
If he's healthy and he's back, then I would love to see Tam. I mean, he's played really well this season, and I think that Kareem's still going to be relevant, for a few weeks here. Obviously, with Pacheco coming back, he's not getting a full workload anytime soon. So I think both players are kind of in that that part-time committee role. But Bigsby definitely has upside, and so I'd probably lean with Bigsby if he's healthy, if he's back.
What do you think, Kyle?
Yeah, I'm leaning that way. They both have pretty tough matchups next week. Bigsby plays Tennessee. Hunt plays the Chargers. So, I mean...
Well, we're on week 13.
Yeah, I know. I'm looking at next week. He's asking about next week.
Oh, week 14. You're right. I didn't even... I read it out loud and didn't understand what I read out loud. You're right. He's looking at week 14.
I was like,
My bad, Tony. My bad.
Yeah, so they both got tough matchups next week, but I do think Bigsby has a chance to do more if he's healthy than Hunt. So, yeah, I think Bigsby would be a better option next week.
I'm actually going to make this a consensus and say the same thing with Bigsby, especially I don't know. Is Trevor Lawrence coming back? Yeah, he's practicing Monday. Okay, so he's probably come back anyway, but I think they're going to lean on that run enough, and Bigsby's been putting up the numbers. So I think that's looking good. I like Bigsby and what he's produced this year. I was actually kind of expecting Etienne to be traded because Bigsby was doing so well. I thought when the trade deadline was approaching that they might trade Etienne away because it didn't look like they really needed him. So
they need Bigsby because since he's been out, Etienne has not been getting anything done at all.
Yeah, what a story with him this year. Everyone kind of wrote him off after his rookie year. People probably don't realize he's 22 years old, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think he's a great target to go after in Dynasty.
Absolutely.
Just because he's youthful, he's obviously showing that he can play.
Yeah, I agree. I actually traded. In hindsight, it's been a pretty good trade still. I traded Tyreek Hill away for Etienne and Bigsby a few weeks ago in a dynasty league where I was kind of out of the run-in, and the guy was wanting to take a shot with Tua coming back on Tyreek and everything. So I went ahead and did it with Reek being so old. And a lot of that trade was actually for Bigsby. I was like, oh, sure. It's kind of, he's seen as a throw-in right now, as a handcuff to Etienne, when really he might be the stronger value there. And again, at that point, that was before the trade deadline. I was like, well, what if Etienne also gets traded?
Yes,
and I've got two starting running backs.
Yep.
That didn't work out in my favor yet, but that's kind of what I was hoping for. But Bigsby, I think, is looking strong going forward. So I like him in Dynasty.
Yeah, I like that move. I mean, you got two running backs that if they do split them up, you could potentially have two starters if they can survive the 2025 rookie running back class, which is pretty deep.
Yeah, it's looking good.
That rookie crap is exactly why I don't put a whole lot of money in running backs in my dynasty leagues. Yeah. Every year I'll have somebody on my roster that'll just get demolished by a draft pick, and I'm like, here we go again. And so
I have not moved away from old school fantasy football enough. I still lean really running back heavy. And I don't know. I think a lot of it has to do with I want depth at running back because they just get injured so much. And so I feel like I need 5 good running backs on my team, and then I feel like I can plug in at wide receiver pretty well. And I'm never up there getting those really elite wide receivers. So unless you get those, they're all kind of the same in my book. So that, those later tiers are so large and kind of even. So I'm still pretty old school. I default to running backs, whereas Kyle is like he'll go 0 RB in a draft, and I can't.
I've got 3 top 10 dynasty receivers and McBride in all 3 of my dynasty leagues. Like that's how I operate.
Do it.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, you're gonna get the most years out of those guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And then I struggle at wide receiver every year, and I do not learn my lesson. Well, in Dynasty, it's hard to turn that around too. Yeah. So I've got to do better in my drafts, but I trade away all my draft picks. So, anyways, okay. Tyler, Kevin Murray in the house. What, my guy? Alrighty.
Can you give us that what one more time?
What? Was that how I did it? I don't remember how I did it.
It was pretty good. It was pretty solid.
Or is it more
up, Tyler? What's up,
what?
Tyler?
That's probably more accurate.
Yeah, probably. He didn't have a lot of A's in there, so hard to say, really.
Yeah.
All right. So I kind of was looking at those bye weeks coming up next week, and we were talking about how devastating week 14 is going to be. And I was looking at Denver being on a bye next week, and it made me think about Bo Nix. Is anyone here starting Bo Nix in any leagues? Is he your starting quarterback in any of your leagues?
I don't own him in a single league.
Yeah, I think I'm in like 16 different leagues, across the spectrum of leagues, and I do not have Bo Nix in any league, which is a big regret. I passed on him in a lot of places. I wish I had him around because I think he's been playing incredibly. So, but I don't have him anywhere.
I picked him up in our 8-man league. He was out there a couple weeks ago, and I was starting him over Kyler Murray because Kyler Murray has been very frustrating. Kind of started off a little strong at the beginning and then just driving me crazy. My gosh. So
there's no rhyme or reason to when Kyler Murray does good or bad.
No.
It's a roller coaster.
He'll have good, easy matchups and do good in one and bad in the other. He'll have tough matchups, do good in one, bad in the other. You just never know when he's going to show up.
Yeah, I mean, I was at the game this weekend in Seattle, and man, he's great. But when you get down into like the red zone, I don't think he can see anybody. Just run around. I mean, there's a real problem with the red zone in Kyler Murray.
There is.
It's you just again he can't the field's not as big down there, right?
Yeah,
but yeah, it's a roller coaster with him. It's tough. I have him in multiple leagues, and yeah, it's so hard to predict. It hurts for sure. And that's the biggest at the game this weekend. I'm obviously a Seahawks fan. I want my Seahawks to win, but I had Kyler Murray going in a couple leagues, and I had a matchup in a guillotine league where I had 6 players in that game going, and I needed to survive because I had some bye week problems. Somehow I got 1 touchdown out of those 6 guys, with JSN, and I survived by like 2 points. So it was a hard game to watch because I want my Seahawks to win, but I'm like, Tyler, you got to do something. Let's go. Harrison, McBride helped, but
I feel that pain because when I'm playing and one of my players is playing against my Cowboys, I'm like, the Cowboys need to win, but I still need them to score some points. Like,
it was absolutely torture watching Kyler Murray play on Sunday.
Absolutely. All right, we got some questions rolling here. Let's get over theirs really quick. Tyler, apologizing for the kicker question. That's okay. Kickers are fantasy players too, and that shirt is available on our merch store at fsan.shop. So you can go to fsan.shop and get a Kickers are fantasy players too t-shirt. Probably find it in your team's colors. But kicker question: Bass, Sanders, Gonzalez, or Grupe in redraft? Who you liking out of these? Bass is playing against San Fran. Sanders is playing against Green Bay. Grupe is playing against the Rams. And Gonzalez is playing against Tennessee.
Nobody jumped to this one.
Yeah, that's kind of a toughie. Honestly, Bass that San Fran defense is not doing good.
Yeah, I'm thinking a lot of just extra points for Bass.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of like in scoring position.
Yeah.
You know, how often are they going to be in
Opportunities.
scoring position? It's just opportunity. I see it a lot with them, and maybe even Gonzalez against Tennessee too.
Not jumping again with Gonzalez coming in. I don't know. That makes
Yeah,
me
I don't trust that enough. I like the matchup. I don't like the situation. I'm leaning Bass here.
I lean Bass too. Just again, opportunities.
Yep.
I'm gonna
What you
go.
thinking, Tom?
I'm gonna go Sanders because I mean I'm starting him in a couple of leagues. He's been on a roll. Miami's on a roll recently, scoring points. Green Bay has a decent enough defense. They might hold him to some field goals. And he's hitting some long ones.
Yeah, no, I mean I understand your reasoning there. I
So-
agree. I think that is your. I think you have a higher floor with Bass. It's a safer pick. Bass is a safer pick. I think Sanders, if you're looking for maybe that opportunity to rack up some points, maybe some longer field goals, Sanders might be your guy there. I agree. I could see that. And Kevin obviously agrees. He's nodding. He thinks you're smart. Yeah. No, just
I
kidding.
mean, it's entirely reasonably thought out. I think that for me, I do not have a lot of leagues with kickers. I try to stay away from that as much as I can. But I've got a couple. I've got a couple out there, and I think that Bass is pretty safe. I wouldn't mind rolling that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that one, it's in San Fran, so it's gonna have some nice weather. It's in Buffalo.
Both of the kickers I like most are at Buffalo and at Green Bay, so both could be cold and windy.
Yeah, they could be. That's never bothered Bass before, though.
Ruby plays in New Orleans, so maybe in the Dome.
And I'm not trusting that offense enough. I don't feel like.
Yeah,
I'm sticking with Bass. All right,
I'm sticking with Sanders.
Look at that. He apologized for the kicker question, and we spent a good amount of time on it because it was actually kind of hard. So, and kickers are fantasy players too. Yeah, and Tyler even says Tyler Sperry says Sanders though at Lambeau. Yeah, I think that's fine. Also, yeah, BHS Cardinal, my guy. Kickers are people too. I agree. Couldn't agree more.
Kickers have been some of my highest scorers this year in some of my leagues. So if you got
Nobody cares about
Boswell
the
or
kicker.
Aubrey, you're killing it.
Yeah, no doubt. No one cares about the kicker till they just need him in that exact moment,
Seibert was doing great until he got hurt.
Yep. Alrighty, let's see. Tony C. Tua, Stafford, Goff. Who you starting this week, and how would you rank them rest of season? Okay, so kind of a 2-1 here. Let's start with this week, week 13. Who you like in here? Tua, Stafford, or Goff? Goff is at home against Chicago. Stafford at New Orleans, and Tua at Green Bay at Lambeau. Kyle, who you got?
Stafford at Nolan sounds pretty nice, especially since Cup and Puka are both healthy. I mean, that matchup is great. So I'm going to go with him this week.
Cool. Kevin, what you think?
Oh, we'll get.
Yeah. Let's go week 13 first. Week 13 first. Yep.
My bad.
Yeah, I like Stafford in the Dome. Obviously he's got his weapons. Tua, obviously he's on fire, but out in Green Bay, I wouldn't bet on that. He's got to come down a little bit. So I think Stafford is a safe play in the Dome. Goff has been incredible. Like, he's been such a great quarterback these last couple years, especially this season. But there are games where obviously, the running backs can get all the touchdowns. I think obviously Kyron can do that in LA as well. But I think that Stafford is a real safe pick this weekend out of those three.
I agree. And Stafford, again, just when he has his weapons, when he has both of his weapons, it really helps him a lot there when he has all his receivers. So, I hate when Goff gets lost in those running games. And then Amon-Ra's looking completely healthy either. So that hurts a little bit. So I think Stafford is the safe play there. I agree with that. And Kyle kind of hinted to it earlier. I know he's thinking that they're probably going to stall out in the red zone. Miami is there, so he's not looking at a bunch of Tua touchdowns this week. So the reasoning stands. I was wondering if you would contradict yourself there, Kyle, but you did not. Way to stick with it, my guy. All right, let's see.
We got to do rest of season too.
So now we got to do rest of season with these guys, which means I need to pull up their schedules for rest of season. So, Kyle, if you already have those popped up there, who you thinking rest of season?
Probably Goff, Stafford, Tua, just based off of schedule. Goff is going to have more big games than Stafford, but Stafford has the best schedule of all three, really.
Yeah, he does.
So, yeah, I'd go Goff, Stafford, Tua. Tua has the worst schedule. It's tough.
What do you think there, Kevin?
Yeah, I mean, I wish every game was in Miami and it was September, sunny and hot. I think Tua would be the guy, just because I think upside's there. Also, kind of depends on what if you're looking how your rosters look, right? If it's pretty solid everywhere else, you need just kind of safe play.
Where are your keys?
Stafford,
Stafford,
Goff, both
sure?
Be pretty safe. I'd probably lean Stafford just because I think they're going to depend on throwing the ball more. Detroit, they're cooking, right, and they're going to lean more on the run game. So I'd probably go Stafford, and based on that schedule that Miami has, I'd put Tua third.
Yeah, I think I'm kind of this. Oh, man, I really like Goff. He's just got a great schedule there. I think we'll know more after he plays Chicago this week how I feel about the rest of his season. I want to see how he does against Chicago the first time, I feel like. But
I mean, if he's got all three anyways, just play the better matchup each week.
Yeah. Well, he might be looking at who is he thinking he's going to get off waivers, would be my guess, to fill in or something. Just my guess.
Yeah.
I'd love to know does he have anyone else, or is he going to go with I'd go with two of them, to figure out the two that have the best schedule that pairs up with each other. That's where I'd go.
Yeah.
And at this stage, I mean, I would carry two quarterbacks if you could get that advantage of pairing those two just to have optimal lineups each week.
Yep, agreed.
I've got some weird commercial playing or something, and it's like the second time a commercial has come on my computer, and I don't know what tab it's in.
I heard something a minute ago. I was like, what is that?
It's on repeat. I've got 3 commercials coming on. I'm going to move you to the next question here. I'll pop it up on screen while I try to find this. Have fun.
Hey guys, go for it. Must-win week. I need to pick 2 flex options out of these. Connor, Stevenson, McConkey, Brian Thomas Jr., or Metcalf. And I'll let Dr. Murray have the floor here first while I make my decision.
All right, so we got 2 flex spots. We need to get optimal performances. DK, I'd probably get DK out there. I'd be torn between McConkey and Brian Thomas. Thomas, if you're looking for more upside. I think DK and Thomas probably have the most potential points. McConkey's safe. I think he's obviously a high volume getter right now. So if you want to, take Thomas with the high upside, but you also want to make sure Lawrence is healthy and playing decent. I'd probably lean Metcalf and Thomas. Connor, in the middle of the season, things were going pretty well. Didn't go so well this last weekend. And obviously, there's some competition in the backfield there. I think it'll be interesting to see how Connor finishes out. I wouldn't touch Stevenson probably. So I'd probably lean Brian Thomas and Metcalf if I really need to push the ceiling.
Yeah. Metcalf against the Jets, that's tough. Connor, I believe, is playing Minnesota. Yeah, that's also tough. BTJ, we don't know about Lawrence. If Lawrence is healthy, BTJ is your top option here. McConkey against Atlanta, I don't hate. And I actually really like Stevenson to bounce back this week. So I'm going to say, as of right now, Stevenson and Metcalf if Lawrence misses. Stevenson and Brian Thomas if Lawrence plays. DK against the Jets just makes me nervous.
Yeah, I think DK, it's a tough matchup. JSN is on fire too, though. He might take a little bit of the spotlight there as well. So tough matchup for both those guys, but I think they're playing well enough that they'll definitely be in the mix. Out of this group. Again, I just feel like Stevenson. It's tricky. It's been difficult for him lately. I think McConkey is safe. So if you want to split it, maybe like again, if Lawrence is healthy, Thomas, McConkey gives you quite a floor with a little upside. But I like Thomas and Metcalf just out of those players in general. But there's a lot riding on the line, I'm sure, just this week. So best of luck.
Yeah.
I think I'm going McConkey and Brian Thomas Jr. here. I love that matchup for McConkey. He's becoming more and more of a go-to in that offense. And, just playing against Atlanta, to me, gives a lot of upside there. But Metcalf, easy argument there. He's freaking DK Metcalf. So that's hard to pass on.
So we're all over the map. You're welcome.
Yep. All right. I'm just not picking one of those running backs for me. I do think Stevenson will bounce back. I just don't think he can do it as much. I don't think he'll produce as much as those 3 wide receivers. And this is coming from a guy who loves running backs. I love running backs. So, and I love Ramondre Stevenson too. Boomer Sooner. All right, let's see. Extended Mags got a question that. Okay, I'm gonna run down this audio while it's going. Y'all talk about it.
Hey guys, I got a question about defense. All right, I currently have the Chiefs, but should I switch? If so, these are available: Bucks, Colts, Cowboys, Ravens, Bills, Seahawks, and Saints. Holy cow!
Are we talking rest of the season or just this week?
I'm gonna say probably he's gonna have to drop the Chiefs to pick one up. So I would probably say rest of season. While the Chiefs has been great in real life, they haven't been great for fantasy necessarily, anyways.
It's a solid defense, though. I think that'll probably balance out a little bit more down the stretch. I think it's a great squad to have.
I think out of this
obviously
group,
this weekend's great.
I think out of this group too, it's probably your best option to stick with them. Let's see.
Yeah, I would just looking at those squads. I would stick with the Chiefs. I know I'm rolling Chiefs in a couple of leagues. Just
Chiefs
the rest
this
of the way.
week, 100% against the Raiders, 100%. And then we can revisit next week if you are wanting to pick one up for the rest of the season. But for this week, you're keeping the Chiefs against the Raiders, no doubt.
Yeah.
Yep, I agree with that. Also, I have not found where this commercial keeps playing at. I have no idea.
Hey, it's part of the excitement here. I love it.
I'm getting trolled. Is it pretty loud when it comes on for you guys? Or is it just kind of in the background?
It's not blasting, but we can hear it.
Yeah, more
That's
background.
Funny. It's weird. All right, we'll just make it background noise. All right. Is Neighbors a bench the rest of the season? Kevin, what do you think on that?
It depends on your roster. I think that it's looking like that. If you have a decent roster, he's more risky than others because the upside is not there. Although if Drew Lock gets in there, he's not as bad as other quarterbacks out there. I think that I expect Neighbors to have maybe a couple more weeks where he produces decently. He still gets the volume, so anything can go. But again, it really just depends on your roster and what you have out there. But he's, if you have a decent roster, he's definitely on the fringe.
Yeah, I think he takes a hit, but I don't know if he just becomes benchable immediately. Like you said, I think, you've got to have better options available. Neighbors is still. Who else are they throwing the ball to there? Wan'Dale Robinson? Neighbors is still your best bet. They're going to probably try to find a way to get it in his hands, even if it's some really quick, short passes, then go make something happen. In a PPR league, still points, right? So
he's about to start getting the CeeDee Lamb treatment, he's been getting from Cooper Rush. just a ton of short targets, just trying to make something happen after the catch. I mean, I doubt you got a better option on your roster than Malik Neighbors at receiver. Like, this guy's still going to put up numbers. He's still going to score points. And he has one of the easiest schedules left of any receiver. When you look at what he's got left, he's got Dallas this week, New Orleans, Baltimore, Atlanta, Indy. Like, that is a dream schedule. So if DeVito remains the starter over Drew Lock, even, like, you just got to get it close to him and he can go get it. These are some really bad secondaries he's got coming up.
Agreed. Tyler wants to know, would you play Hunt and Pacheco at the same time and Myers versus Coleman at the same team? Okay, so would you play Pacheco and Hunt at the same time? If they both play, would you put them both in your lineup?
Is Pacheco playing for sure this week?
I think so. It's looking like it.
I think that will happen.
I don't think I'd start either of them this week.
Yeah, I would stay away if you can. Again, probably it just depends on what else you got out there.
The only thing that gives me hesitation with this is that they're playing the Raiders. But I think Hunt would be your guy of the two to start this week against the Raiders. I don't think Pacheco is going to just come back to a really big workload.
I would agree with that, but I wouldn't.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're looking at getting, you're hoping to get the production of one running back out of the two, essentially.
Yeah.
So I'd rather not do that.
Yeah, I'd rather try somebody else instead of Pacheco along with Hunt for more points.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're saying he was a full participant at practice. Pacheco was, so looking good, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not starting Pacheco yet, and I'm definitely not starting them both. So, all right, Myers or Coleman?
Myers against the Chiefs is a hard no for me. So Coleman by default.
Are you kind of feeling that same way?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not trusting that at all, honestly. That's a no for me, dog. Though, I mean, now we're talking Jacoby Myers, right? I mean, against Denver, he scored 22 points against Denver.
Still
that doesn't change anything for you?
Not for me, nope.
He scored 17 points last time they played Kansas City. Does that change anything for you?
Desmond Ritter's probably going to be starting. Also,
Point taken.
It's not pretty.
Point taken. I'm also going Coleman.
he can't even get a Minshew or an O'Connell out there this week. Like,
yeah,
that's a hard one.
I tried to get you to change your mind, and you stuck with it. I'm proud of you, Kyle. You're sticking to your guns tonight, and I like it. Higgins or Debo this week?
Ooh. I forgot who Higgins
Are they still going to be without Purdy?
Oh, they played Pitt. Ooh. I don't know. Is Purdy still going to be out?
I'm going to look that up real quick.
Purdy's still out. That's an easy choice.
Brock Purdy throws on Monday. Well, that is his job. Did some light throwing Monday and didn't have any issues. He'll rest Tuesday and see how the shoulder feels over the course of the week, it says. So that makes me nervous. Who is Higgins playing?
Playing Pittsburgh. And it's the early game. And the Niners are playing Sunday night.
I think I'm going to go Higgins.
Yeah, I'd roll with Higgins.
He had a great game against the Chargers before the bye, which is a tough matchup. People have been moving the ball on Pitt lately. They're not been as stout as they were earlier in the season. So, yeah, I'm rolling Higgins.
Yeah, I'm choosing Burrow over, a hobbled quarterback.
Agreed. I agree. And it's too – because you don't want to risk it, too, where they get through, after your second slate of games, and they're like, you know what? Brock Purdy's not playing tonight. And you're like, oh, crap. Now I'm stuck with Debo with this backup. So I'm not
scratched in warm-ups, late in the fantasy season. That would be a legendary tale you'd probably tell, down the road, right?
Yeah, you'd probably be telling how you drove to San Francisco, broke into Candlestick, and with the candlestick. All right, let's see. Pick 2, Connor, Pollard, B-Rob, or Hubbard. You're here my list of running backs and their matchups. You would think I would remember all of their matchups by now. Been looking at it, been talking about it. And for some reason, every time I have to reset my brain to think of who they're all playing against. Pollard playing against Washington. Okay, because we hadn't talked about him tonight yet. So
Hubbard's an auto start here for me.
Hubbard is?
Yeah. And then out of the other two, like Connor for me is he's a sit this week. Yeah. Pollard has a good matchup against Washington. B-Rob's banged up, and Tennessee's a tough matchup. Hubbard against Tampa Bay, who is not very strong against the run at all. I think it's got to be Hubbard and Pollard.
Yeah, I'd go with the same thing. Yep.
Yeah, what they said. That's exactly it. So I'm just going to throw this. I know we've already seen it, but I'm just throwing it up there again, just to remind people that kickers are people too. just a reminder. Let's see.
We found a strong ally tonight.
I tell you. All right, need 2 running back, 2 wide receiver, 2 flex. Okay. So automatically seeing Jennings there, we've been pretty high on Jennings these last couple weeks, but now, again, the quarterback situation, that's hurting him quite a bit. We just talked about Neighbors. We've already talked about Pollard and Pacheco, Hunt, all those guys. So for me here, God, this person plays Yahoo. You can tell because they put all their wide receivers first. So 2 wide receivers. Not that I hate it there. Probably Jefferson and hold on. I didn't look up to see who is playing against the Texans. Who are they playing against? Oh, Jacksonville. Crap. Okay, I might actually be going Jefferson and Cup, and then 2 running backs. I'm going Bucky and Pollard, and then for the 2 flex, I'm going Dell and Tracy.
I agree with all of that, except I'm going Neighbors instead of Tracy.
Yeah, hate to go that direction, but that's exactly what I would do too.
Yeah, everything else was perfect, but
Neighbors and flex.
And it's because, last week Singletary all of a sudden was involved again more, and that makes me a little nervous. So,
yeah.
I just have faith in running backs against Dallas.
Well,
but I think Neighbors is a great call there too. I did overlook Neighbors a little bit there, but I would be happy with Neighbors as well, but I would probably split it and go with Tracy.
Also, Bucky is a must start this week.
100%.
He took over even the passing downs from Rachaad White last week, and they play Carolina. Must start in every league.
I did not expect him to be that big of a part of it all. That was wild to me.
He's pretty special.
I didn't think he'd completely take it over year 1, but he sure has.
Yeah. All right, guys, I do have to take a moment to mention that the banner at the bottom there, that ticker down there, guys, if we don't get to your question tonight live on air here, I apologize. We only have an hour here, but you can always go to fantasysportsadvice.network or .com, whatever. You can get there either way. You can get on our social media network, 100% dedicated to fantasy sports. You don't have to worry about any of that other crap, but we all hang out on there and answer questions. So you can go on there, ask your questions. We'll get them answered for you. And other people can also join in and help you and give you some advice. I'm going to play a quick video to describe that to you, and then we will be right back.
We are here. FantasySportsAdvice.com, offering the best fantasy sports social media platform. Why join endless Discord communities or the trolls of Reddit? Fantasy Sports Advice is a community designed to help you win with 24/7 support. Go to FantasySportsAdvice.com and become a pro member for unlimited access. Again, go to FantasySportsAdvice.com today.
All right, guys, again, go over there. If we do not get to your question tonight, you can go over there and ask us, and we are on there 24/7. Well, site's open 24/7. I sleep, so don't get your hopes up. But all right, back to the questions really quick because we are running out of time. Lost by half a point because you didn't have an active kicker. Ooh, Kuambai, Butker on IR. lost your perfect season. Dang, that's tough, Tyler. Tough. All right, let's see. Start 2, Wilson, May, or Tua. Super flex. Again, Tua playing Green Bay. May has been a surprise this season, playing against the Colts. And then
Maybe
Russell
a
Wilson.
surprise, but I don't think I
Cincy.
could start him over Wilson or Tua.
Yeah, for me, I would actually roll Wilson and May. I don't like the Green Bay matchup in Lambeau for Tua. I'm expecting a down game, coming off the high. But Russ, against Cincinnati, I can see him doing some things. And I think May, it's got a good matchup at home. Hopefully he runs a ton and he gets you a win.
Yeah, I'm going with Kevin here. I'm agreeing with that.
I am too. Like, I like Russell Wilson the most out of the 3.
Oh yeah.
It feels weird to start May over Tua, but I agree. We talked about it all night, not liking that matchup for Tua this week. So, yeah, give May a shot, man.
It's a gut feeling with Tua just not doing great this week. He's bound to come back down.
Matchup's not that tough for May either. So
I agree. All right. Here's one. You got to sit Jane Daniels or Hurts. I'm sitting Daniels out of the 2 probably.
Yeah.
I can't sit.
Me too.
I just can't sit Hurts.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. In a 4-way tie for 4th place in one league, Burrow, Kyler, or Mayfield at QB. So for me, this is going to come down to Mayfield or Burrow. Burrow at Pitt. Mayfield at Carolina.
Kyler at Minnesota is not a bad matchup.
I know. I just
you got to play Baker against Carolina. I mean, it's gonna be. We just saw Mahomes have one of the best games of his season against Carolina, so I think Baker can do it too.
Yeah, I think I'm leaning the same way. I would be afraid that they're just going to ground and pound the whole time, but like you said, we just saw Mahomes where they've been running the ball more than usual, and he just went out there and lit it up. So I think this is a good game for Baker.
What was the first player in that?
Oh, Burrow.
Burrow, yes. It's tricky, those divisional games. That could be a battle. I'd love to see them have a shootout. But for me, I think Kyler, jumping on that roller coaster up and down, up and down. I think he's going to have a big week. I think he's have a big week in Minnesota. I think that's going to be a fun game, lots of points. I think Kyler will bounce back. I think Baker definitely the safest floor here because again, Burrow, Burrow's most talented probably, right? So Burrow biggest upside, although again I think Kyler's just got an opportunity here to bounce back. But Mayfield, depending on the rest of your lineup, if you need something safe, I think he's definitely gonna 202 pretty easily.
All right, so you're just on that roller coaster here and tick 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 tick, ready for it to go over. I see.
Yeah, if I need points and I'm desperate, I'd roll the dice with Kyler Murray.
Yep.
I agree. His last name. Yeah, he just likes the last name. No,
yeah, I do.
I do think Kyler bounces back this week because you can't run on Minnesota. So I think they'll try to throw it around a bit more this week for sure.
I think it could happen.
Baker's still my pick, though.
I agree. Not that I'm biased or anything either. So let's see. Benji says pick 1 wide receiver, 1 running back, 1 flex. Cook, Bucky, Connor, Pickens, and Sutton.
Hell, Sutton's become a must start at this point.
Jeez, hadn't he? My goodness.
Bucky and Sutton are autos for me, and then it's between Cook and Pickens, I guess.
Yeah. Pickens playing against Cincy, I don't hate.
I don't hate Cook against San Fran. San Fran's been unimposing. I mean, Josh Jacobs just went nuts.
Who you starting at flex there, Kevin?
Actually, I'd go Bucky, Cook, and Pickens. But I get
Sutton.
I get he's been good. He's been on fire. But I like Bucky Cook and Pickens for this week.
I just love that matchup against Cleveland on Monday night. Like, my mouth is watering for that.
You're just thinking about Thanksgiving already. That's all.
That's a little bit of it. That's just going to be dessert Monday night.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's tough between Pickens and Cook. Probably going to lean Cook.
I
am also going to lean Cook there. I'm going to go Bucky, Sutton, and Cook.
So there we go. We're all on the same page-ish. Pickens, Cook. I'm sorry. Bucky, Cook, and then it's just Pickens or Sutton.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Honestly, they're probably either one's going to be a fine play, but
now here's
I'm gonna ride the Sutton wave.
All right, let's go. Quincy says sit one: Jennings, Debo, Cup, Lamb, or Mooney. For me, this is a Jennings sit probably.
Yep.
Yeah, Jennings or Mooney, but probably Jennings. Yeah.
Well, and what the tiebreaker is for me there, if I'm being honest, is that I want to start Jennings and Debo.
Mm-hmm.
Like, to me, that just doesn't sound fun leaning on that.
Yeah, that was mine too. Just the double Niners is a pass.
Let's see. Quincy, need 2 wide receiver and 1 flex. Debo, Jennings, Worthy, Downs, Monty, and this Scantling. Oh, Debo, Downs, and Monty. Oh, wait. Yeah. Yep. Anybody oppose that?
Yeah, I mean, I'd go Debo,
wait, is that
Downs, and Monty.
Is it Monty or is it Montez Valdez Scantling?
Well, that's why I was like, but that would be Marquez, not Monty, right? So I'm just like,
oh, okay.
So I'm thinking David Montgomery, or not David Montgomery.
I don't know. That could be. It could go either way on that one. That definitely could be Monty Valdez Scantling.
Quincy, let us know. Is that Monty, or is that a mess up with Valdez Scantling?
Yeah, that's tough. I'm not sure which one that is.
You can go both ways, I guess.
Yeah.
If it's Monty, I'm rolling Monty in the flex.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. Then I'd go Debo and Downs.
Debo Downs, I like.
If it's Valdez Scantling and no David Montgomery, then I'd go Debo, Downs, and I mean.
Okay, he says yes. It is Monty and then Valdez Scantling.
Okay, perfect.
Oh, Monty then. Yeah.
There you go.
Debo Downs and Monty are your guys then.
Yeah, that made it easy. Love that. Yeah. All right. In a Dynasty Superflex League, should I trade Pickens and a mid-second for A.J. Brown?
Yep.
I would do that.
Apparently I'm over again.
Billy says, y'all sit one, H-Hand, Bucky, or Kyron. I'm going to sit.
Oh.
I'm sitting Kyron.
How can you not start all 3 of these?
Right? Like, you better have a good reason to not be starting one of these guys.
Yeah, who's in your flex?
Who are you starting that you cannot play all 3? Yeah, who is your flex?
Man, it's got to be so good. That's got to be so good.
Like, that's crazy.
I mean,
who is in
I
your
think
flex?
Kyron is going to get the most volume, against, New Orleans?
Yeah, he'll get a lot of volume against New Orleans.
Kyron most touches. A-Chan will probably get more touches than Bucky. But Bucky's got a much better matchup.
Bucky is my man this week.
Yeah, I'd go Bucky and Kyron.
Yeah, I got to sit A-Chan against Green Bay, I guess. I don't like it. But,
terrible.
But I think that has to be the move.
I'm sticking. I think they're going to throw a lot there against New Orleans. I think Kyron doesn't get as much work. I think with Tua maybe struggling a little bit there in Green Bay, they're going to give it to A-Chan a little bit. So that's kind of where my mind's at there. I'm sticking to A-Chan Bucky. I'll be the odd man out. Either way, I don't think there's a wrong answer here. Holy crap.
Really, you have to start Bucky and then flip a coin for Kyron and A-Chan, honestly. But
you got to find a way to start all 3.
I just think Kyron, they'll throw against New Orleans a lot early, but I think game script could end up Kyron running a lot of clock.
Heavy, yeah. And who's more likely to get a touchdown? I mean, Kyron.
I think Kyron's way more likely, to get in the end zone too.
All right, let's see. Quincy says start 1, Pitts or Disley.
Whew.
What do you think about Disley there, Kevin? What you thinking?
I mean, Will, that's my guy.
Yeah.
Seattle guy.
That's why I'm asking.
But no, I think Pitts has been horrendous, but at the same time, he's got more upside than a Disley. Disley's been used. I'd probably still, if I had Pitts on my roster and I was this dedicated to him, I'd probably still roll him out there.
At this point, it's just an abusive relationship. Just
That's
keep
terrible,
rolling.
but
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, yeah, and I was gonna say the same thing. Essentially, like you've got him. The upside's there. He could break back. He could break out of this funk at any moment, right? So
3-year funk.
Stick with Pitts. I mean, your ceiling with Disley is eight points. Yeah. So roll the dice and go with Pitts.
Agreed. All right, let's plant some trees. It says Tua or Josh Allen in a snowstorm this week.
Give me Josh Allen.
Yeah,
Josh Allen.
He's going to be running if
He's
it's
running
snowing.
over people.
He's going to be running and
I
scoring.
love that guy in snowstorms. Have you seen how he does in snowstorms?
Yeah, he doesn't care.
Run the dang ball. And that's
another reason I like Cook earlier in that other questions because it's snow. They run the ball. That's what they do.
Run the ball.
Yeah.
All right. Also says 10-team PPR, drop Kraft for Ertz, Kincaid, or Hunter Henry. Or are you sticking with Kraft?
I'd drop him for either Kincaid or Henry.
Yeah, for me, I would probably take Kincaid and just hope he gets hot at the end of the season.
Yeah.
I think that's where I'm at. I'm hoping the upside of Kincaid. Kraft is still everyone who's catching balls there in Green Bay it's too wishy-washy. I don't like it. It's too fluid. Let's see. Goff or Darnold? How
This
about
week?
no?
Yeah.
I trust Goff more than Darnold.
I know the matchup with Chicago's not great, but they're playing at home. So I think Goff will still have a pretty decent day.
I just don't trust Darnold. But
yeah, I think they're both kind of similar tier. Who's going to win the game? Yeah, I'd probably go with Goff and just hopefully he throws some touchdowns.
Yep. Alrighty, George wants some Chargers, Bills, or Cowboys defense. Cowboys might not be a bad play.
No, go with the Bills.
I think if I want to know if Purdy's playing or not.
Even if he plays, he's gonna be banged up. Probably lean on CMC, but that's not dangerous.
I think I'm rolling with the Cowboys.
I think the Bills just have probably one of the best defenses out of this group, right? The Chargers are horrible. Atlanta, I guess, is not like a top 5 or a bottom 5, I should say, matchup for the Chargers defense. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Bills.
I'd lean Bills.
I think the Cowboys are gonna get some sacks and maybe one more return for a touchdown.
I just hope we don't have a letdown.
Thanksgiving miracle. Man, those returns the other day were wild. Anyways, Purdy or Herbert?
Herbert. We know he's healthy.
Exactly.
Herbert. Yeah, Herbert.
Jason over DK in full PPR. Kevin, this is a question for you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I lean. I got multiple rosters where I got both, and I'm putting JSN in there first. So
isn't that wild?
Yeah, in PPR, I mean that just full PPR that seals the deal because he is incredible. It was fun just seeing him out on the field this last weekend. I mean, there's so much that happens, that you don't see, when you're watching a game, and he's dynamic. He's definitely he's not just on a hot streak. I mean, he's going to be here to stay. So I like JSN.
Well, and I remember when he was drafted, they kept asking Olave, Wilson, those guys, who's the best receiver, and they all said JSN, right?
Yeah,
we knew he'd take over for Lockett eventually, but he's starting to win that against DK too now.
He's definitely the volume guy and the guy that Gino's looking for. So
Yep.
And they have, I mean, ton of like just manufactured catches with him like these bubble screens and stuff, and it's pretty nice. It's pretty nice for JSN right now. It's JSN season for sure.
Absolutely. All right, guys, we have reached our hour. How do y'all feel about doing a little bit of a lightning round here and getting through a couple of these questions just for some of these guys that have been hanging around for us, just to be nice and sweet, like we are fine gentlemen. All right, Judy Tillman or Keenan?
Paul.
Yeah. I know I said lightning round, but then we're just sitting there going, "Ooh, that's what we got to."
I'm not playing anybody against Denver defense, so go Keenan, I guess.
Yeah, Keenan got a lot of usage last week. I'll roll Keenan.
I'm actually leaning that same way, which earlier in the season I was not feeling that way. So
two weeks ago I wasn't.
yeah, exactly. Scott White, is Abdullah going to be the lead back in Las Vegas? Wouldn't count on it. Arturo wants to know, trade Lamar and JJ for Jamar Chase and Herbert.
Nope.
No, absolutely not.
Again, to me, it just depends on the rest of your roster. And if you're super young, I'd go with the younger players. If you're not going to contend next year, I'd try to get the most out of Lamar that I could physically possibly get. So I would not do this deal in most scenarios, but maybe there's a few that you would make it make sense.
Yeah, it would definitely have to be a dynasty league there. Kraft or Hawkinson?
Hawkinson.
Yep.
Hawkinson's heating up.
All righty. Chase Brown or Kenneth Walker?
Give me Brown.
Yeah, I'd lean. I mean, Walker's pretty incredible.
I love Walker. I've got
I'd lean
with my dynasty.
I'd
I love that guy.
lean Brown just the way he's been playing lately.
Same. They're throwing him the ball. He's racking up 7 to 10 points just on receptions. Like it's wild.
Yeah.
All right, Jordan Love or Jaden Daniels?
Give me Love.
We assuming this is for this weekend, right?
Yes. Yeah.
I'd go with Daniels. I like the running abilities.
I think that's where I'm at too. I think that's just tilting it for Daniels for me, but
typically I would but against Tennessee, I'm not loving it.
I hear you. I don't know if there's a wrong answer there, but I'm leading Daniels on that one.
Give me Love on Turkey Day.
All right. Do I start Nix, Williams, Darnold in a PPR?
Oh, Nix
for me.
Yeah, Nix has been on fire.
Yep.
Against Cleveland on Monday night.
You can start 2 QBs. So you start Caleb or Darnold along with it.
Give me Darnold on that one.
Yeah.
I'll take Caleb. First Thanksgiving Day, some primetime action. Detroit's going to be putting up some points. So Caleb's going to be playing from behind. I think I'd go with Caleb.
I'm going with Darnold.
That's fair.
I like your reasoning. There's some upside there, but I just can't do it. I can't do it. We got Millie Mills in the house. What's up?
So, dude.
All right. Let's see. 10-team PPR. Have all these guys also. Okay. I don't see a question in there. So let's see.
He says he needs to bench one of the wide receivers or running backs.
Okay. Oh, I see it in there. Okay. I need to bench one of the wide receivers and running backs.
Adams, to me, is getting benched. Out of that group.
Yeah, I think that's where I'm at too.
Adams or Otten? No, need to bench one of the wide receiver running backs. But he's got Otten in there.
Yeah, he gave us his whole roster, but he only needs a bench of wide receiver or running back.
Yeah, I think I'm sitting Adams.
I'd sit Adams, and there's nobody there I'd put Waddle in over either. So
yeah,
I agree with that. All right.
Sometimes people ask questions in weird ways.
Yeah.
Well, I like seeing the full roster. At least you get some context.
Yeah, absolutely. All righty. Let's see. Got that. Andre wants to know, is this a league-winning roster? Dude, honestly, this year you could have the best roster in the league and you probably have 3 wins. So the way I've seen it going, it doesn't matter how good your roster is, but it's a decent roster. Your flex is
It's a good roster. I would try to use either Reed or Moore. Would use one of those flexes, upgrade on Andrews at tight end, then you'll win your league.
Especially after tight end, after he just scored this week again. Try to sell on Andrews and upgrade that tight end.
If your trade deadline isn't
probably past trade deadline though. Yeah,
you should have done that last week.
Yeah.
Where were you last week, Andre?
Oh, Trig says deadline is at noon for his trades, but we really don't have time. Oh, got it. Yeah. I need Dobbins to be back sooner than later. Okay. Julian, start Goff versus Bears or Cousins versus Chargers. Can see St. Brown with a bounce back week. That's tough.
I want Cousins there.
I would lean Cousins.
Give me Cousins.
Yeah, I don't know that I want to put all my eggs in that basket there with the Lions. Because if one struggles, the other's struggling. I feel like that's pretty risky. I think I'm going Cousins there. So I'm going to go with that. All right, guys, that lightning round took 6 minutes. That was pretty good. We made it through quite a bit there. All right, so we'll wrap this up, guys. Again, if you have more questions, you can always join us over at fantasysportsadvice.network, and that's our social media network, 100% dedicated to fantasy sports. You can ask all your questions, and we'll get them answered over there. Download the mobile app, and you can have it with you at all times. Kevin, just want to thank you again for popping on again this week without the windstorm going on there and hanging out with us for another hour. It's been a great time. And tell people how they can find you.
Yeah, on X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it, at Dr. KJ Murray, or you could follow at FF Unlimited as well. Fantasy Football Unlimited would be the website. Resources in fantasy. Love to share resources in fantasy. Other than that, I'd say the biggest thing that is current with me right now. We obviously get the Fantasy Football Unlimited podcast, which is a ton of fun. But the Commissioner of the Year contest, we just launched that this a couple weeks ago, and it's been a ton of fun, getting a ton of nominations. Basically, looking for the best commissioner on the planet right now, someone who's doing a ton for their league. You're going to see a lot of different posts and whatnot on social media, on my platforms. And so again, looking for the best commissioner out there. Fill out the form, nominate a commish, someone that's doing a lot of great things for your league. And we got a lot of prizes, ton of prizes from Trophy Smack. We're gonna have a custom belt for the champ. We got a custom blazer for the champ. We got
That's awesome.
We got a ring. We got a necklace. We got an SFB 15 invite for next season. So a ton of fun prizes for the Commissioner of the Year. So can't wait to figure out who we're going to crown, because the nominations have been fun. A lot of great commissioners being nominated already. So put your hat in there, or nominate a commish that you think is doing a great job, and we'll definitely take a look at their abilities, and we've got a judging panel that's just a ton of fun. It's JJ Zacharyson, it's Scott Fish, it's Ryan McDowell, it's Kendall Valenzuela, it's Joey Wright. It's phenomenal lineup. You got John Bosch in there as well. So a ton of great panelists on the judging panel that are going to award a commish.
All I'm hearing is I really need to step up my commission game. I really am not worthy of any of that stuff. But guys, seriously, go check out Fantasy Football Unlimited. You want to be on that website. It has tons of resources, and it was just updated, I don't know, last year maybe or something. It's so well done. It's sleek, it looks good, and it's organized well. Guys, go there and you can get all the resources you need all in one place. So it's really awesome. So you've done a great job with that, Kevin.
Appreciate it.
So all right, guys, that's going to do it for us tonight. And good luck this week. And until next time, we'll see you.
Good luck.